I guess first thing first, maybe you can give us a quick introduction about your role and your brand specifically.
Yeah, so I'm Brand and Marketing Director at Papier, looking after all aspects, really. We're a small team, so that's kind of PR through to performance marketing, brand partnerships, and social media. For anyone that doesn't know, Papier, we are an online-only business doing design-led personalized stationery. So it's all print on demand. We deliver worldwide, and we've just launched in Australia.
All right.
Okay, I'm Debbie. I'm Customer Director. I'm accountable for all e-commerce, digital insight, data insight, and customer service at Moss. Moss is pretty famous for its hire business, but actually the majority of the business is ready-to-wear. Business is 165 years old, with 130-something stores. So trying to bring digital across that has been quite interesting.
I'm Sally Hunter. I'm a CRM and data consultant at 77 Diamonds. My role is basically anything from data, so analysing campaigns, working on the CRM, to the order database, to inquiries within sales. For anyone who doesn't know 77 Diamonds, we're a bricks and clicks e-commerce diamond jewellery retailer, specialising in made-to-order jewellery, diamond jewellery.
All right, thank you. So we talked a lot today about customer loyalty, retention activities, what it means to each business. Each of your brands are very different verticals. So for each of you, what does customer loyalty actually mean for your business?
I think, well, we're a new brand. We've only been around for 2 years. For us, I guess advocacy is the most important element of getting customers and really their brand loyal. They engage with us beyond just our product and really kind of become brand ambassadors. So that's, yeah, we don't have a loyalty program, but that's where customer loyalty is a sort of important element for us.
The foundation of loyalty for Moss really is on its product and its service, and that's what we've been building out from. What we really want to be is first in mind for anybody that can shop men's formal wear. Bearing in mind we've got customers that are from buying their first prom suit through to granddad buying a suit for his granddaughter's wedding. Loyalty means different things for those different profiles, so it's getting that right across the estate and across the different channels that people can shop.
So our first product normally purchases an engagement ring, so you probably wouldn't expect that to be purchased more than once. So our kind of loyalty is based on whether or not they come back for wedding and eternity rings. So we have programs where they can get discounts for those kind of things.
All right. And how do you believe that customer loyalty is built? So ultimately, depending on the retailer and depending on each actual individual, they might react and engage differently and actually become that loyal customer. Do you believe that in your case, customer loyalty is more built through the brand, the products, the storytelling you're giving, or more through the actual services? So in the likes of Amazon, for example, they build their loyalty through great product offering, sure, but also amazing services. So what would it be in your case?
For us, we've got, obviously the product's really important. We give education on all of our diamonds, and the process of actually buying the product's really important. And that's also shown through all the high reviews on Google and FIFO. But additionally to that, it's about experience and the service. So it's kind of, we have an in-store experience where you can come in and see diamonds, you can come in and try on the jewellery. And it's really important for 77 to translate that properly. And additionally, our main target audience is millennials, so it's kind of like using influencers and using reviews, which is what persuades customers to buy.
Okay. I don't think you can actually separate the three, to be honest. Moss in the last 6 years has spent a lot of time reinventing its product, so you've had the right product for a sort of contemporary, modern formal tailor offering, which it's done really well at. And then the last 12 months has been focused on the service that we've been providing. So unless you can actually deliver on promise to your customer, and you've got the product that they want to purchase, and you're not going to have any opportunity for loyalty and repeat purchase. And that's synonymous with the overall brand, really.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you have to, like, we offer a completely exclusive product. You can only buy it on our site. It's really high quality, and people really fall in love with the actual just designs of our notebooks and stationery in general. But then the whole experience, from like the packaging we use to sort of the amount of time our customer service actually spend helping people order their wedding invitations, like that experience is where the loyalty kind of grows, I guess.
Yeah. And following up on what you just said, Debbie, did you see when you started to focus more on the services, because as you said, products have been there for a while, did you see a radical change in people coming back? How did that translate into?
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, because the repeat purchase rate for Moss is pretty low overall in terms of industry benchmark. When we really dug into it, a lot of it was driven, we did a lot of analysis on NPS score, and we could see the NPS by different delivery channels as a particular dimension was particularly low. For example, if we'd had a road traffic accident on next day delivery with DPD, it suddenly dropped like a stone, and then what you could see is repeat purchase rate dropping in the future. And also things like, we get the service right and digital, and all of our parcels are going out on time. We're delighting our customer, but for our click and collect customers, when they were actually going into store to collect the parcel, if the store manager or store staff is rude to our customer, then that customer's repeat purchase rate equally drops in relation to that. So it's all of the small parts really that make that overall promise and that experience to drive that repeat purchase. But if you don't get them all right and you don't keep your eye on the ball, it's a very small thing, like something out of your control, like a road traffic accident, next day delivery missing its promise, will impact that, and we can see that in the data.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. I haven't mentioned that in his talk. The expectation of customers keep rising quicker and quicker. So today, if they actually don't get a very specific level of service, which 10 years ago was amazing service, if they don't get that today, they're actually quite annoyed and might actually not come back. So that makes a lot of sense. What is the actual most successful loyalty initiative you've used, not necessarily in the current brand, but potentially other brands you work for? So not just also restricted to loyalty programs, any kind of loyalty initiatives or retention initiatives that you use that was actually quite successful?
So as I said, we've got like a discount for purchasing the wedding and maternity rings if you purchase an engagement ring. We also give our subscribers exclusive sale access, early access to discounts, referral offers. So if they refer someone to us, they get discounts back. We have in-store like showroom sales that we invite people to, and we're going to be starting wedding anniversary. So we're just currently collecting the data for like wedding dates, so that we can begin to send a few months in advance reminders that it's coming up.
We don't have a loyalty program at Moss specifically. We have a Refer a Friend, which has only gone live in the last week or so, and we're seeing some positive results from that. But I think one of the things we have done is what we've stopped doing in terms of loyalty. So we stopped bombarding people with scattergun email, with irrelevant message, speaking to them at the wrong time with the wrong product. For example, if you come in and buy a luxury suit, there's no good. We were previously sending them, say, an email around a £79 suit offer. Now that's a big turn off for our customers. So it's probably what we stopped doing that's made the biggest difference in the last 6 to 9 months, rather than what we have started doing.
Yeah, I think similarly, we don't have a loyalty program in place, but the previous company I worked for was brilliant on customer loyalty, but not at all based around a point scheme. So that was Anthropology, and the loyalty program there was about organising events for customers, all free pretty much, across all the stores. A birthday discount, which people loved, even though it was only 10%. And they received something physical in the post, which I think is really important, but obviously quite hard to scale up. And then just like ongoing offers like free delivery for loyalty members throughout the year, previews of sales, things like that. So really effective. So it was kind of the whole thing together made people feel particularly looked after and keep coming back.
Yeah. The anniversary one is actually quite a good example. From your perspective, what is kind of the best way to try to re-engage customers that may have not shopped for a while? Maybe they were active at some point and they just start becoming disengaged and they start shopping. What is the way of getting those guys into customers again, but also turning them into loyal customers? What do you have
I guess find out first, like investigate why they have stopped using you. We'd probably avoid using any kind of offer-led incentive to get them back. But yeah, I guess like surprise and delight is always great. Like if you can send flowers or chocolates, or for us, we can send a card to just get people kind of back on track with us. But yeah, I think it's also personalization. It's recommending products relevant to them in emails and yeah, really understanding what they came to you for and why they're no longer coming to you.
Yeah, we've done a lot of segmentation over the last 6 months where we were able to identify products people have purchased, when they're most likely to purchase something again, and what the thing they're most likely to purchase is going to be. So it's really been about relevance and the right product at the right time. I think it's made the biggest difference. But importantly as well, understanding why they've not come back. I'm fortunate to have customer service under my remit, and the data that we get back on that, where customers have been disappointed, and then using that data intelligently to go back and say the right message, even if it's just, we're sorry, we messed up. Has been really, really successful for us. So it's not really about anything fancy. It's just been about focusing on the small details and following through with that to the end.
So since the last Metro Lifecycle, we've actually taken on board some of your output about content is king. And that's one of our things that we've noticed mostly is that it's not about like hard sell. It's just more about telling our customers about who we are, what kind of new collections we're having, and sending out more blogs about educating them. It just means that they are more engaged. They might not purchase, but we hope that eventually they will, because as you imagine, that it's quite expensive to buy a diamond every year. But yeah, so that's the kind of...
All right. So one big challenge for any retailers in the room is to acquire. Sure, acquiring customers is one thing. Having a pipeline of acquisition marketing that is scalable, so the more budget you put into it, the more customers you get out of it. But another challenge on top of it is actually acquiring the right kind of customer. So not necessarily discount-heavy shoppers, but customers that will turn into repeat customers. So we ideally want any customers who buy to turn into a loyal customer. Do you believe that any customers can be turned into a loyal customer, or do you believe that you actually need to acquire a very specific kind of customers, only the specific kind that can be turned into a loyal customer for your brand?
I think that anybody could be. Maybe that's... I think I'm sure there's some sort of psychology around it, where there's a particular type of customer. But I think for 7-7, essentially, if anyone's buying an engagement ring and the service and the product and the experience has been perfect, then why wouldn't they buy in the wedding in entirety? But one difficulty we do find is that the brand engagement is obviously originally with the man, and it's then translating that to the female receiving. Obviously, there's and same-sex couples, but it's actually translating that also experience back to the female, or and kind of stopping people, or not stopping people, reducing the risk of people going to local jewelers, which is sometimes where we find that we lose our wedding and eternity ring sales.
I think any gentleman or actually wife or girlfriend can be one of our customers. I mean, we're fortunate that we have the £79, introduction prom suit, all the way through to a £3,000 luxury Saruti suit. So that can cover from a 16-year-old boy to a 90-year-old gentleman. So anyone can be a customer. I guess the question is whether or not they're going to be a profitable customer. And we've been doing loads of analyses on segmentation around full price dominance for a customer, or they're their sale customer, a promotional customer, and are we getting the right balance? Are we too promotionally driven, for example? That's been really interesting looking at that around the profitability of those different segments, because it's not necessarily what you think, that you don't want a sale customer, because you still as a business need to sell through your sales stock, for example, but they could just be as valuable from a profitability perspective as any other customer, even if they're full price but low frequency. So yeah, I think I'll take anyone that walks through the door.
Yeah, I think everyone can be loyal. I guess it depends on what product they've come to you for. So we have people that just come to us and buy a greeting card every week, every 2 weeks. So we're thinking about what loyalty looks like for them, and we're thinking a mobile app with a bit of gamification and fun rewards. But then we've also got people who spend more. They're coming to us when it's like a life event, wedding invitations, birth announcements, and loyalty for them is probably, you know, us contacting them when we think something big is coming up in their lives, and percentage offs are probably more valuable to them because they're spending more with us. So I think it's, yeah, understanding what they want out of the customer experience with you. So
so let's imagine I'm a retailer and I acquire tons of new customers through Facebook advertising, and I deliver what I believe is a great product, a great finished product, a great service overall, a great first order experience. But despite that, I still see most of them not coming back and shopping again. What's your advice to these retailers?
I don't know, I guess it's kind of a similar one, like just try and survey them and find out why they didn't interact again, and maybe it has to be an offer or some kind of incentive to keep them on board. But yeah, I don't know, it's research, data.
All right,
yeah.
Research.
Yeah, depends on the customer profile, I think. Are they ready to be purchased yet? What do they purchase in the first place? If they've got a prom suit, they're probably only going to buy one prom suit. They might not buy an interview suit for a while, in our example. Or they might actually be purchasing through another channel.
Yeah, I think that's what we find is like attribution back to Facebook or back to social media is quite difficult. There's not that many people that would come from advertising, shop on our website and immediately buy a diamond. So it's kind of more of a contributing factor than a final attribution.
Okay. Do we have time for questions? Yeah? 2 minutes for questions? Okay. Thank you. We'll take a few questions now. There is in the room. Questions? Yes. So the question is, do you have any advice for people that haven't set up any loyalty initiative, correct? Cool.
Well, as I said, we don't have one, but we decided to put a big emphasis on content and launched a sort of online magazine, which we felt has a monthly issue, new content every month, and we thought that would be a great way to get people coming back to the site for a different reason, not just to like buy a new card or new notebook. And that's really helped with engagement. And yeah, and I guess if you don't want to have a sort of rewards-based scheme, that kind of thing is really valuable. And it also means you have something nice to email people about that isn't just product. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep it simple, sort of core walk, run, really. And focus on relevancy. I think that would be the key thing, where we got our quick wins anyway.
Yeah, I was just going to say relevancy, so.
All right. Do we have time for another question? Okay, one question. Any other question? Anyone else but Ivan? Okay, Ivan. So the question is for everyone: how important is loyalty and how many orders do you need to create that customer?
Yeah. So it depends on the customer segment. So if we're looking at full price, the level of engagement and the frequency of purchase is much more important in terms of driving that profitability. But for something like a sales shopper that might come and spend a lot of money, but only once a year, but can equally still be profitable for us, both in terms of the actual margin of that particular sale, but also in the value of clearing that stock. So I suppose it depends which lens you're looking at it. But yeah, the greater loyalty, the idea being that we can sell as much through as full price would be much better.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks again.